Boss, we have an emergency. Many of our staff are falling ill. At first it seemed like a common cold, but before we knew it, blisters started popping up on their chests and... Damn it. I'll fill you in at the ACC. Just get in the chopper.
Oh my god，怎么回事？水泡不是像我之前那个嘛？就之前我碰到有那个病人，然后胸部都那个烂掉那种样子，就很像那个，它是水泡，那水泡就是烂烂的。
Mission
Look
list
closely.
updated.
Those are the symptoms of the infection on Mother Base. The blisters on the body were full of tiny worms. Parasite larvae, most likely. But we couldn't find any adults. It doesn't seem to mature in the body, like a spargatum. We don't know the root of infection, or what causes symptoms to develop. Boss, do you remember seeing these symptoms before? The bodies floating around in the oil facility, the bedridden test subjects at the Devil's House. This epidemic looks just like what we've seen on our hunt for Cypher. So this is the weapon of mass destruction Cypher was working on in Africa. Boss, the situation is urgent. We need to quarantine the infected and contain the pathogen. Priority now is to prevent more casualties. But the problem is, how do we tell who's infected? During the incubation period, we have no way of knowing who's clean. You'll have to try and guess who's infected before they go symptomatic and quarantine them. That'd be easy if we just knew the route or vector of the infection. From now on, if you even suspect a staff member's infected, use your iDroid to order them into quarantine. Given the situation, the men won't submit to quarantine just because I or the medical team tell them to. But they will listen to you. Of course, it's just a temporary measure until we find a permanent solution. But at least they'd be in solitary isolation so they won't infect each other, and we get the mental care they need. If we do nothing, we'll only lose more people. We have no choice. Boss, open your iDroid. I'll explain how to quarantine staff members suspected of infection. Go to the Mother Base menu and select Staff Management. First, take a look at the quarantine facility we've set up. We'll isolate anyone who's already symptomatic at the quarantine facility. But we have to expect that there are multiple staff who are infected, but asymptomatic. So how do we identify them? At present, we have no way to tell them apart. But there has to be something for us to go on. If you notice anything, reassign staff you suspect are infected to the quarantine facility. We'll monitor them and then contact you if there's a change in their condition. Correctly quarantining these asymptomatic infected will reduce the number of new infections. You should continue with your missions as usual. If Cypher is behind this, going after them should help us determine the root cause of this epidemic. Also, until we identify the pathogen, we can't fire or dispatch any staff. We cannot let this thing spread. Boss, get to the bottom of this fast. We're counting on you.
其实大概知道了，就是后面的语言，刚果、俄语跟英语。哇，这几乎全部人都被割裂了。我看一下南非语有没有，南非语看起来也有。对啊，刚果、英语、俄语跟南非语。
Select unit.
隔离设施300多。
Staff has been quarantined.
All right. We'll quarantine the staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection?
哇，就体能各种降低。
Incredible, boss. Thanks to you, the number of new victims has plummeted. And a common point between the infected. Is it really possible for a disease to spread because of that?
好，来听一下
Boss, a new job's come in. It's a hit. On the human trafficker who sent Shabani and the others to Nzoya Badiabulu, where you ran into Skullface. The thing is, this guy might know something about the disease that's going around Mother Base. The symptoms are similar to the ones we saw at that factory. Start by checking the mission details on your iDroid.
我想听一下录音带。哪一句？这个感染的背景，听一下录音。
Look closely. Those are the symptoms of the infection on Mother Base. The blisters on the body were full of tiny worms. Parasite larvae, most likely. But we couldn't find any adults. It doesn't seem to mature in the body, like a spargatum. We don't know the root of infection, or what causes symptoms to develop. The infection rate, along with the number of dead, are both on the rise. If we don't find the cause, and soon...
Boss, you remember seeing these symptoms before? The bodies floating around in the oil facility, the bedridden test subjects at the Devil's House? This epidemic looks just like what we've seen on our hunt for Cypher. It could be a counterplay by Skullface.
That's insane. You mean they weaponize parasites?
Parasites as weapons. That definitely falls under the Biological Weapons Convention. But it's something the world would never see coming. And no one's ever developed a vaccine for parasites.
人家没有证据
So this
指
is
认
the。weapon of mass destruction Cypher was working on in Africa.
It may be. But if it is, how did the Yellow Cake and Walker gears fit in? There must be something bigger we're not seeing. Anyway, our priority now is to prevent more casualties.
The medical team is studying the infection, but we can't treat anyone until we know the root cause. All we can do right now is halt the spread of infection.
目前也还不知道状况，那我们来看一下如何分辨感染者。
Remember before, boss? When Quiet attacked one of our guys on Mother Base, stuck a knife in his mouth. He's one of the very few soldiers who've had contact with her recently. Close contact. I don't think it's a coincidence that he was among those who became symptomatic pretty early on in this
感染
epidemic.
发病者是
Saliva and blood spatter, an open wound, mucosal infection. Whatever is causing this got inside him then.
Miller, that is a baseless accusation.
The source of the infection is Quiet. Everyone suspects her.
We don't know that. And we've come across these symptoms before. The bodies in the water at the oil field facility, those sick people in the beds at the Devil's House. They're identical to what we've seen while we've been after Cypher. The infection could have come from elsewhere. But at the very least, she does know something.
It's not like she's gonna talk.
No, not through words anyway. What about her actions? Quiet held a knife to that soldier back then, before he became symptomatic. There must have been a reason for
感
that.
染自激
A
进
reason
团
for
体
shoving a
效。
knife down the throat of one of our men.
What if she's capable of identifying who's infected? What if she was trying to stop the infection but couldn't communicate that to us? The answer to that, the source of the infection, might be in the mouths of the infected.
You think there's some kind of clue in their mouths?
I don't know. But maybe there's something about the mouths of those who've become symptomatic, something in
我操，
common.
我的舌头
Something
之
their
类的。
mouths have in common. Forget it. We can't trust her. Even if she can spot the infected, I don't want her help.
他们真的
I
是，
understand how you feel.
至少是，对啊，
But
至
this
少是一个
is
现实。
something to go on.
Can't you see it's just like I said? Bringing her here was a big mistake. Quiet is gonna be the end of us.
Stand down. You've got zero proof. Try to keep an open mind on this, boss. There has to be a way to identify who's infected.
好了，再接个主线好了，虽然现在我们的等级有点降低。
Please select a mission.
猎杀，那我来找。这地图有点大，我还是要接。家要找出那个反正，
Mission accepted.
那我们还不知道对方在哪里。因为这边有2个大村庄。啊，反正都在这里。好，没关系。
Deploying.
竟然动我们的 动我们的士兵。你不知道，身为一个顾家的好 big boss， 动他的士兵是最严重的事情。亨廷档，所以猎杀叫亨廷档。hunter 就是抓。然后说猎人是 hunting 当就是把人家抓了。
The target is a PF logistics officer who works as a human trafficker on the side. The client wants him dead. He's currently on the run somewhere on the savannah with bodyguards. Unfortunately, we don't know what route they're taking. All we have to go on is a coded transmission sent by the PF at the Tati abandoned village. It appears to be a workup of the target's security plans, but to decipher it, we'll need an intel file with the encryption key. This key should be at the comms facility at the Tati abandoned village. Check your iDroid to see what the target looks like, as well as the location of the village. Find the route, find the man. That's the Tati abandoned village. The enemy transmission originated from there. Be careful down there. Worth checking out.
Please select a deployment point.
解锁猎杀，因为这边太多小村庄，不吵，直接过去，安全。其实照理说应该在这边追查一下，我们先抓人再讲，因为我们失去太多人要补一下。不过我们现在也不知道到底是什么造成人员伤亡，所以没解决之前。
Buddy has infiltrated our enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
哦，这个上面是真的什么恶魔之死？
Marker removed.
有那个有
Marker placed. Marker placed.
You made it to the Tati abandoned village. That's where the enemy PF's coded transmission came from. There's got to be a transmitter there
Analysis
somewhere.
complete.
It could have the intel file containing the encryption
Marker
key.
placed. Marker
Look for an
removed.
antenna.
Marker placed. The analysis. Marker placed. The map has been updated.
找那个天线 ，OK。该抓的抓一下，先拷问，看能不能问到一些情报。哇嘞嘞！
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete.
啊，没中，还好没看到。
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Caution, rain approaching. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
拷问。
Spit it out. Where are the others?
他说不用。
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
He's coming too.
Enemy
Roger
presence
that.
detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete.
That's the target. Eliminate him, however you see fit.
The map has been updated.
Buddy, let's come on.
姐妹在哦。刚好，这套前导不对。
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Hey, come on,
Target extracted. We'll let the client know he's been...
Mission info has been updated.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Analysis complete.
You gotta extract him.
让我去救这些死了。
Marker placed.
救，然后救我的时候，what the？ 叫一下补给，用我的狙击枪一下，然后直接把那个狙击打一打，然后把它。这不好打，
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Analysis complete. Please select a drop point.
叫来救护警。
Supplies requested. Enemy presence detected. Extraction arrived at mother base. Supply drop complete. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
Ik wil niet spreken.
The map has been updated.
Moeder. Alsjeblieft.
The map has been updated.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Analysis complete.
What is it speak?
The map has been updated.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Analysis complete.
Hands unlisted. Talk.
Where are your friends?
The map has been updated. Analysis complete.
Ik wil niet prikken.
The map has been updated.
Help me.
Okay, subject is in.
You have arrived at your destination. Analysis complete.
Alsjeblieft. Wat moet ik doen?
Subject on
Enemy
board.
presence
Leave the rest to
detected.
us.
The map has been updated.
Okay, subject is in.
Analysis complete.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Extraction arrived
That's
at
it.
Mother
You made
Base.
it out of the hot zone. No sign of the
Exfiltrated
enemy.
hot zone.
Mission complete, boss.
所以他我比较 NG 他会这么来，因为我一般都是坐直升机撤退，很少用跑，
Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional.
知道了吧？蝙蝠 Batman。好了，我们来看一下到底那个人口贩子会讲什么情报。现在这个病也感染到我们这边，就变得因为我们自己这边都麻烦。 因为等于说我们人也少。
Our trafficker was very talkative. Guinea pigs. That's what became of his kidnapped victims. Says he got a good look at that factory at Zoya Badiabulu when he dropped off some fresh guinea pigs for them, along with our man without a face. His instincts told him to run like the rat he is. Said it wasn't worth the money. Figured he could be next. That's when he went to the NGO for help. He thought that in exchange for his buyer's list, they could set him up with a new identity someplace far away. He had an idea who he was up against, and he didn't want to take any chances. A true rat. But like us dogs, he knew when he smelled trouble. And something else. He said the specimens come from deep in the forest. We don't know what he meant by specimens just yet. But those guinea pig symptoms match what we've seen on the infected at Mother Base. Deep in the forest. Maybe there's the clue we need to beat this infection. Boss, the truth could be right around the corner.
Wait a minute. 又是韩国语。好像剧情越来越刺激，但是说来要睡，有点累了，没怎么。
Side ops list
Boss,
updated.
we finally heard from one of our
Mission list
missing intel team
updated.
members. He says he has a solid lead on the epidemic at Mother Base. Take a look at the mission details ASAP.